say I look so good. She say I look so good. I know I look so good. I know I look so good.
Back to the channel. This is Chef John with Eat and Drink TV. And today I want to talk to you about how to price as a private chef and caterer, right? This is very important. So if you want to have more business tips like this, more chef business tips like this, go ahead and like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. I'll definitely keep bringing it to you. And also drop your chef name, your private chef name, or your catering company below. We'll make sure that if we're in your area, we'll show you some love for sure. But yeah, first things first, we want to talk about why this is important, right? So how to price as a private chef or a caterer is very important, because if you don't know how to price, you're going to go out of business real fast, because you're going to get frustrated. A lot of times customers don't know, what's adequate pricing, how to understand pricing, right? And I'll just give you an example, a real life example, right? Let's say a customer comes to you and they say, hey, look, I want smoked chicken. I want macaroni and cheese. I want collard greens. I want rice. I want salmon. I want dessert. I want bread. I want water, tea, juice, lemonade. And I want you to provide all the cups, napkins, plates, utensils. I want you to deliver it, set it up, and serve it. And they say, my budget is $600. Oh, yeah, and I want you to do this for 50 people. What do you think you're going to do, right? You're not going to be able to take that order, because it's just no way that you're going to make any money. Well, let's just hypothetically say that you're able to find some way to get all the groceries and things for like $250. And so you say, okay, well, if I can get everything for $250, I'll still make $250. Well, wrong, because you're not accounting for your time. You're not accounting for supplies, seasonings, gas, all these different types of things that it's going to take in order for you to get this job done, right? And so is this on you or the customer, right? Now, the reason that this information is important, because you definitely want to educate your customer and let them know why you're charging what you're charging. So one of the first tips I would give is always give an itemized quote. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that it's line by line what you're charging for. This is for the food. This is for the time. This is for the delivery. This is for the servers. Have it broken down line by line so people can see what they're paying for. And then the next thing will be to go into why we quote, right? How we quote. There are 3 different types of quotes from my perspective, from my 13 years as a private chef and caterer now. Started in 2012, it's 2025 now, so you have 13 years as a private chef and caterer. There are 3 main pricing tips, right? And so before we get into that, let me just go back to the example we just gave, right? So we would go back to that customer, right? We would say, now, if you walked into a restaurant and you had smoked chicken, macaroni and cheese, collard greens, bread, dessert, a drink, and let's just stop right there. This is just a hypothetical, right? What would that cost you as a consumer? And they will probably give you somewhere around $30, $35, depending on the type of restaurant it is. You have some low value restaurants that, specialize in keeping prices low. And then, you have higher end restaurants where that menu you're going to pay, with all that stuff, you're going to pay $50, $60. But let's just go in the middle and say somewhere around $30, right? Just to keep it a flat number. So you got the $30, right? Now you're going to multiply that times 50. 50 people, you said it wanted for 50 people, right? So 30 times 50, that's $1,500. So that would be a baseline quote, in my opinion, right? Just baseline. That's still kind of low, but that's just baseline. But we're going to go into this and I'm going to tell you exactly how you're going to quote, right? So that's just, we figured out that part. Now let's just go into like the details of it, right? So now I told you there's 3 different types of quotes. Number 1 is going to be a traditional quote, right? Well, a traditional quote is where you analyze all the costs you are going to incur in order to complete the order successfully. First thing you're going to do, you're going to go into pricing everything out. So they told you smoked chicken, how much is the chicken gonna cost me? Macaroni and cheese, how much is it gonna cost me to do? How much I need to do for 50 people? And then one question you really need to ask is two different type of ways to cater an event. Number one is this for everybody to eat once, so everybody gets one nice serving of the food, and then after if they get 50 servings, that's it. Or is it buffet style where they can come up and basically serve themselves, and it's going to be enough time for them to eat, get seconds and thirds and things of that nature, right? So if you're serving buffet style, you got to quote higher because you got to have more food, right? So if I was saying it's for enough people to just get one serving on a 50-person order, then you're probably going to get like 50 to 60 pieces of chicken, right? Just enough for everybody to get a piece of chicken. That's what you're paying for. But if you want a buffet style, then we probably gonna have to do like 150 to 200 pieces of chicken, right? So now that's a whole different quote. So you're gonna price how much each item is gonna cost you, right? And you're gonna add that number up. So that's the first thing. And then, you don't want to forget things like your pans, your wire racks, if you don't already have those. Um, all those different types of things. You wanna make sure you're incorporating all of your supplies, into that utensils, napkins, silverware, whatever they ask you to provide, you add up all of those costs, right? All right. And then after analyzing those costs, you want to add an additional fee for your time and expertise. So if you're a new chef or a new caterer and you don't have a lot of expertise, or if your product is okay, like that you're decent, but you're not one of the best, you don't want to go overcharging for your time. You want to be somewhere fair, right? Like, maybe 35, 40, $50 an hour, depending on, your expertise level. Now, if you are an award-winning chef, or if you are, you have accolades, or if you're like one of the best in your area, or one of the best in the world, best in the country, whatever, now you want to go where you want to go. You set your own price, $100 an hour, $150 an hour, $200 an hour, right? And that can get very expensive. So you have to kind of be thinking of that, because just to cook all of that food is going to cost, it's going to take you, just to cook all that food is going to take you about probably 16 hours when you're talking about smoking food, just shopping. You got to keep that into mind too. You know what I'm saying? Either you're doing the shopping or you have somebody shopping for you on your staff. You have to pay your staff. All those costs you got to add up, right? And so you want to add food costs, equipment, supplies, utensils, everything, then your time and expertise and your staff's time and expertise. If you have a sous chef that's helping you with an order, like for instance, my mom helps me with a lot of orders and she does desserts and different things like that. Like, I can't pay her what I would pay somebody that just worked down at the local bakery and don't really have a lot of expertise. Like, I have to pay her top dollar because she's one of the best in the country. So that's very important, pricing in that arena, right? So where your profits really going to come from when you do a traditional quote is going to be in your time and expertise, right? So those are where your upcharges come from. And don't forget, like, delivery time, gas, all the different type of stuff you need to add into that. Now, the next type of quote that we have is budget pricing, right? This is a budget quote. Budget pricing is where the customer gives you a budget and you comprise a custom menu to fit that budget, right? So this is very important as well, because you want to make sure that if a customer gives you a budget, you can fit within that budget. Because they're going to try to tell you all the things they want, but if you tell me, hey, look, I got $500, I'm trying to feed 50 people, what should I do? I'm probably going to tell you to order pizza. But what I would say is, if I was going to take an order like that, what I would do is I would say, okay, you want to feed 50 people. Let's go ahead and do something like rice, which is very inexpensive. Let's go ahead and do something like green beans. We're probably just going to get canned green beans. You could probably get 2 or 3 cans to feed 50 people. That's probably going to cost you about 15 to 20 bucks. Probably rice probably cost you 10 bucks. And then, let's do like leg quarters, or let's do chopped chicken over rice, right? things of that nature. You know, you're going to need to provide your own utensils. You're going to need to provide your own drinks, you know, that different type of thing. So now you're talking about, we bought maybe a case of chicken, $40, green beans, $20, and rice, maybe $10. We spent $70, you know, after we take out our gas, our pans, you know, and our time. We're probably not making any money per se, but you can still like on the net profit side off of what you spent compared to what you pay. You know, you might have spent $130 depending on how far the venue is from where you have to drive and all the different type of stuff. You know, you probably spent, and then you cutting your time down drastically because to make rice and green beans is not going to take you that long. And if you bake the chicken, that might only take you a couple hours. So, you know, you can probably profit maybe, you know, $350, $300, something like that off that order. And you're not spending a ton of time doing it, right? So that's a way to do budget pricing. And then lastly, you have by the menu or by the item, right? So if you have a traditional chef menu or catering menu, private chef menu or catering menu, and you say, hey, look, you know, a pan of chicken costs this, a pan of macaroni costs this, a pan of collard greens costs this. And then they can just purchase by the pan, but you have to tell the customer, this is where you educate the customer. Whatever comes in that pan, that's what you get, right? So if you're trying to feed 50 people and that pan does not feed 50 people, then that's not on us because we can estimate or kind of guesstimate how many pieces come in a pan, and you can the customer can kind of make that decision or make that, you know, judgment call on their own. But what we do is, you know, we just sell you the pan and that's it. You know, if it's not enough food, it's not enough food. Now, the reason why when you're doing catering, as opposed to like private chefing or anything like that, reason why you're doing catering, you really want to lean towards number one, a traditional quote, is because of that factor right there. People will come to you and say, well, let me get a pan of chicken, let me get a pan of macaroni and a pan of greens. And then they'll call you later and say, hey, you know, that wasn't enough food. I told you I was trying to feed 50 people. Yeah, but you ordered by the pan. You ordered off the menu. You didn't order a custom traditional quote for 50 people. Because if you would have asked me how much it's going to cost to do 50 people, then I can give you a traditional quote and let you know that. So the key to all of this and wrapping all of this up is educating the customer, right? Letting the customer know, you know, this is why I'm charging what I'm charging, you know, and do it nice, you know, don't try to make them feel small or try to make them feel like their money's not enough or their budget's not enough. Because at Miller's Catering and, you know, as a private chef, I do a lot of budget pricing. You know, I'll ask the customer, hey, look, do you want a traditional quote? Where I'm going to, you know, quote you, you know, what it's going to really cost to do this and fair for you and for me, right? You want to be fair to them, but you also want to be fair to yourself because it is your time, it is your expertise, it is your energy that you're putting into it, and it's your love on a plate. You know, hopefully, if you're a chef and you're cooking with love and you're cooking, you know, with you trying to do your best. You know, you want to give them your best, right? And it's easier to give somebody your best when you're getting fairly compensated, right? But we do a lot of budget pricing, and I'll ask the customer, you know, when we have our first consultation, hey, do you have a budget you're trying to stick to? And then I'll let them, if they say, yes, I only want to spend 1,000 or I only want to spend 2,000. Okay, how many people are you trying to feed? Okay, what type of menu are you looking at? Okay, so now I can say, hey, look, you know, these are the factors that's going to contribute to your cost. You know, this type of food is going to cost this. You know, if you're frying something, the oil is going to be expensive. You know, the transportation is going to be different. Do you have a kitchen on site where we can cook there? These are all the questions you got to ask because you don't want to get in a situation where you're working with somebody's budget and it's really hurting you. So you're not giving your best because you feel like, oh, this is not worth it. You know, you want to always give your best, you know. And a lot of times it's not the customer's fault because they don't know, right? They don't know. Even though you would think that they know because they go to restaurants and they go out to eat all the time and they go grocery shopping and they see how expensive things are. You would think that they know, but they don't know. They're not a caterer. They're not in the business like you. They don't understand all the costs associated with completing an order. They just thinking about the food costs. That's the only thing customers normally thinking about. They're not thinking about your expertise, your time. They're saying, well, why would it cost so much to do this? Well, think about it, use that example all the time, guys. Say, hey, listen, if you would go to a restaurant and order this, what would it cost you? Now multiply that by the number of people that you have. Now we got to at least start there. And then you got to say, you got to think about my time. It's going to take me 20, 30 hours to cook all your food, to get it panned up, to deliver it to you, the convenience that you're getting for that, you know, and that's why I say you always want to itemize and itemize all of these factors, itemize everything on your invoice, because the reason you do that is because if a customer wants to take something off, it's been itemized. You don't lose in the end just by throwing a number out there, and then they say, well, I don't need it delivered, I'll come pick it up. I don't need this, I don't come pick it up. If you itemize, then they can look at the itemize and say, okay, well, I don't need a delivery. Okay, so they're taking off delivery, you still getting paid for everything if you itemize properly, right? And that's why you want to charge properly for your time and your expertise, because, and this is for the customer, right? This is for you too, chef, caterer, but this is also for the customer. You do need to pay these chefs and caterers for their time and expertise, because you can go anywhere. You can go to McDonald's, you can go to Ruth Chris, you can go to Pizza Hut, you can go to Domino's. You can go any restaurant and order what you want. You can go to any chef and get what you want. Hopefully, the reason that you're going to this particular chef or company or caterer is because you believe in them and because you want their products, because you know that they're going to give you a great experience and you know that they're going to put food on your plate that is worth it, right? Don't call somebody just because you think they're going to be cheap, right? If you call somebody because you think you're going to be cheap, it's because you looked at the menu and you said, okay, that's what the menu prices are, and I'm going to order by the menu, and I'm going to deal with whatever comes with that. If it's not enough food, if whatever the case, if I can't heat it up right, if whatever, I got to deal with that, because I didn't want to spend the money that it takes to pay this person or this company for their time and expertise. Remember, they have gas costs, they have insurance costs, they have labor costs, they have staff costs, they have food costs, and then they have their time. They can't just pay all of that and then don't make any money themselves, right? The company's gonna go out of business, or they're gonna not be able to pay their bills. So, you know, this video is twofold. One, for you, chef, for you, caterer. Y'all keep doing y'all thing out there. Like I said, comment below, let me know where you cooking at. You know what I'm saying? If I'm in your city, I'll stop by and holler at you. If somebody's looking for catering, and you're looking for a good caterer, a good chef, hopefully you can find some in the comments below, post your name and your city or your website, whatever. You can find me at millerscateringclt.com. We're right here out of Charlotte, North Carolina, but we do travel all over the United States if you're paying properly. So once again, this is Chef John Miller, Eat and Drink TV. Hopefully you guys like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We'll have plenty of videos for you, plenty of content for you. And yeah, go already check out the channel, man. Especially our podcast, our cooking show, Eat, Drink, and Handle Your Business. We have a lot of great recipes on there. We're having fun, we're laughing, we're joking. We have a mixologist on the show who's actually pouring and mixing drinks. So she's giving like creative cocktails that you probably haven't tried before. Stuff you can do at parties, stuff you can do at home, stuff you can just do whenever. Something you might just want to go to your bartender and say, hey, look, have you ever tried this before? Can you make me one of these? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, check out Eat and Drink TV, Eat, Drink, and Handle Your Business. Christopher Marsh Eats, he's going to a whole bunch of dope restaurants all around the country. And you definitely want to check those places out, because if he posts it, then it's actually going to be good. He's not going to post anything good, and that's not good here, right? And so thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for liking, subscribing. I'll see y'all in the next video.